The next process in preparing the samples for examination is placing the samples in a mount using this mounting press. What we're going to go ahead and do is prepare the mounting press for the process. What we're going to need to do first is preheat the mounting press. This particular mounting press happens to be a Leco PR15. What we're going to do to preheat it is we're going to turn the heat on. And the power turns on with the heater light on. The heater light will go off to let you know that the preheating process has been completed. But this roughly takes 5 minutes. Now that the heater has been preheated, we're going to go ahead and turn the heat off. We're going to make sure that the pressure valve is tightened clockwise. Next, we're going to go ahead and pump this lever until the piston appears at the top of the screw. You should start to see the piston now. What I'm going to talk to you about now is the reason why I didn't cut the samples with a bandsaw. This side of a sample was cut using a sectioning tool. This side, however, was cut using a bandsaw. You see those jagged lines? It means we've disturbed the grain boundaries. The sectioning tool, as you can see, did not disturb with the grain boundaries very much. That's why it's so shiny. And that's also a reason why you don't see jagged lines on this sample as much either. What we are going to do now is, remembering where we cut using the sectioning tool, we're going to place the sample on top of a piston with the sectioning tool cut side down. What we're going to do now is lower the piston until it drops about a good inch and a half. Now that the sample has been placed onto the piston and lowered into the mounting chamber, we're going to put mounting compound into the chamber. This compound we're using is called black phenolic powder. We're just going to take one of these scoops and fill it up with mounting compound. The next thing we're going to do is use this spindle to press down, but first we have to lower the pressure a little bit. We're going to spin this on until it's tight. And what we're going to do now is raise the pressure until it reaches the red dot under 1.25 inches. And that is going to be approximately 4.2 KSI. We're going to keep pressing until the needle settles. Since the pressure has stabilized, we are now going to turn the heat back on, and we're going to set the timer for 7 minutes. Now that the cycle has ended, we're going to turn the heat off, and we are going to release the pressure. We're now going to loosen the spindle and making sure the pressure valve is tightened clockwise again. We're going to pump the piston. This allows us to easily grab the mount from the top of the piston, so that way we don't have to reach down inside the cavity itself. Once you start to see a little bit of the mount, we can go ahead and take this spindle off. This will be cleaned off shortly. And what we're going to do is pump the piston until we start to see a little bit of a piston. we're going to use tongs to grab these. There's the sample inside. And we're going to let this cool down before we etch the back of the mount to clarify which sample this is. What I'm now going to show you is how we clean this the rest of the way. We just brush it so that way there isn't any debris for the next time that a person uses this. And it also helps get rid of defects in the mounts. Now that the station has been cleaned, we're going to go ahead, and if you want, while it's still heated, you can put another sample onto the piston. Lower it down and put some mounting compound in there and go through another cycle. Once we are done with all the specimens, you usually lower the piston down and leave the heat off so that way it can cool down. Now that the sample has been cooled down most of the way, I'm going to show you how to etch the samples. What I typically use is this engraver. This is how you put it on. And you can write just about anything on this mount. All I'm going to do is write S for sample, and I'm going to put a number right next to it. And here is how the engraving turned out. I know there's still some mounting compound around where the sample is, but the grinding process should get rid of most of the compound that's left on the sample. You repeat the engraving process for the next samples that you usually have in the mounting press once they're cooled off. And once you have enough of these samples, you can go ahead and grind the samples down and polish them to further enhance the sample. That concludes the mounting process.